Hey YouTubers, how's it going? Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. I got a really good article. I looking up housing articles today, and I found a really good one. It's by Liliani Farah, and it says housing is a human right, not a commodity. And that's what I've been trying to tell, and people commenting in the comment section for the longest time. They've been trying to say this. This is from today's date. It was updated today, yesterday. Sorry, because I think today is April 1st, April Fool's Day. Happy April Fools, everybody. And very, very good article. I'm going to read it for you guys. I'm going to read some of it for you guys. It's really long. I'll leave a link below. Toronto's overheated housing market is now being called a crisis. I mean, yeah, it's happening. What about Vancouver? What's going on here? What's going on? Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. And evidence has been offered to support widely divergent opinions on its causes. Some suggest it's a problem of unprecedented demand for housing. Others say it's all about lack of sufficient supply. I'd like to suggest it's neither. Thank you. Thank you. It is neither. What's happening in Toronto is not new. It's a phenomenon seen elsewhere, in Vancouver, and places across the globe such as Hong Kong, London, New York, Singapore, Sydney, Stockholm. Let's add Auckland, New Zealand in there. Vancouverite and urban planner Andy Yan has termed them hedge cities. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Places that offer us insight into the heart of the matter. Hedge cities. That's what it is. Fantastic. That's like, you couldn't pick a better name for that, buddy. Housing is now predominantly valued as a commodity, traded and sold on markets, promoted and invested in a secure place, a place to park unappreciated amounts of excess capital. And this is what I've been telling you guys. People parking their money and hoping that prices go up or hoping that they maintain or plateau, right? The view of of housing as a human dwelling, a place to raise families, that's what I'm about, if you've been watching my Living the Dream series, and thrive within the community, has largely been eroded. That's perfect. This is like a perfectly written article. Largely been eroded. Despite its firm place in the international human rights law, housing has lost its currency as a human right. This is beautiful. In Toronto, Vancouver, and elsewhere, residential and commercial real estate have become the commodity of choice. For corporate finance and the uber rich, global residential real estate is now valued at 163 trillion US. More than twice the world's total GDP. In Canada, in 2016, real estate represented the third largest segment of the economy, but accounted for half of the country's GDP growth. The consequences of placing the interests of investors before human rights are stark. The hedge cities' housing prices have increased to levels that moderate and low-income residents can barely afford. It's working poor, and it's getting really hard. It's getting really hard for a lot of the people that are really trying to make ends meet, doing the right thing, getting up in the morning, working hard. In the Greater Toronto Area, for example, in the last 30 years, from 1986 to 2016, housing prices have increased by 425%. Whereas in the similar 30-year period from 1985 to 2015, the average family income has only grown 133%. Housing prices, I think family income has declined because taxes have been going up. Housing prices have increased at 3 times the rate of income, no longer commensurate with the with household income levels. Housing prices are driven instead by demand for high-end assets among the global investors. In other countries, the result has been devastating. In the U.S., in the 5 years from 2008 mortgage crisis, 9 million households were evicted due to foreclosure. In Spain, during the same period, 300,000 people were evicted. Legendary Wall Street short seller Mac Cohodes has predicted that this is the direction in which Canada is now headed. And I also read an article about him last year in my Trends in the Housing Market. So you can look it up. Large-scale foreclosure-related evictions should give rise to outrage about the lack of oversight by the governments and mass violations of human rights instead of countries responded by favoring the interests of financial institutions while waging panterizing fingers at those. Oh, wagging. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm reading through the screen through another screen, so I'm reading through screens here. Sorry. Wagging patronizing fingers at those who have lost their homes. The failure to regulate financial markets and prevent predatory lending occurred with relative impunity. It's so true! This is such a good article. While the recent federal budget would have you think otherwise, financial markets and global housing investments are not, in fact, beyond the control of the governments. So this is a really long article. Let's close it off and see what it says here. And so, what is presented as a private market gone mad? In fact, something far more deliberate. The failure of governments to govern in a manner that is consistent with human rights. The solution requires a fundamental shift, one that prioritizes human interests over economic ones. Very good article, guys. I'm going to leave a link below. Mind you, I'm a little bit tired right now. I've been gardening all day and doing things around the house. And don't forget to follow my Living the Dream series, where basically I left the city. I lived 2 hours out of the city, and I live in a beautiful, beautiful town. And I bought a massive house and with a gigantic backyard, and I'm gardening and fixing the garage. I'm converting my garage into like a mechanic shop. It's really nice. I'll do a video for you guys about that. I want to know what you guys think, man, because this is really, I mean, I'm very kind of upset that Toronto didn't put measures in after they saw what happened in Vancouver. It's pretty bad that Toronto didn't see, hey, you know. Same thing with Seattle. Seattle now has, if you look at some of my things, they have housing brochures in foreign languages, advertising real estate in foreign languages. And they haven't learned either. And they're not seeing that they're selling out. I mean, everyone gets ahead right now. Not everyone. The people that are selling, the people that they're having the champagne, their strawberries, they're having a great time. They're rolling in dough. And you know what? And the reality of it is, it all wears out. The party's over. Party ends sometime. You know? I was telling my friend today, Mike, how some of these people make hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Not in real estate, I mean, in general, and they end up flat broke. It happens. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Really good article. Read it, share it, comment on it. And I want to thank this lady for writing this. This is a really good article. It gets to the point, and it actually targets what's really happening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.